But you never know that you could. And when you feel that way, ain't it good, good dancing in the red and gold. Dancing in the red and gold.
What's up, Faithful? Welcome to another episode of the 49er Faithful UK Live. As always, I'm your host, Paul Hope, and I'm joined by the main man, El Presidente, Lee Gowland.
Hey, Paul, how are you doing? How are you doing, mate?
Well, Lee, I think our heart rates may have just settled down. I had a blast recording the pod. Now, you're in for a treat tonight, everybody, because when we put together the live show, the big part of the live show, Lee, was the host didn't have to do much prep because the podcast had been out, everyone would have listened to the pod. Now, if you've tuned in the last few weeks, Lee has put his stamp on the show and we've done lots of prep planning. Tonight, me and Lee both forgot that there was a show on. Neither of us did any prep. I've been in the office in Darlington and I got on the train at 6 o'clock, Lee, and I thought, you know what, buddy? Welcome to the madness that is the 49er Faithful UK Live. So on that note, How are you doing tonight, mate?
Yeah, I'm not doing too bad, mate. I mean, to say we did no prep is not quite right. I did a little bit prep. I had a look at some of the topics that people had put forward, and they were going to take a little bit more research than a couple of days. Some of the topics were really good, really excited to talk about them. We're just not going to do it tonight. So tonight, whether or not we get over that hour mark, as we did the previous 2 weeks, I'm not so sure about that. But I thought with the watch party coming up, I'm a bit quiet. I'll just turn that up a little bit there. How about that? Is that okay for you, Colin? That should be all right. I can see the volume level going up. Yeah. So I mean, with the watch party coming up on Sunday even, I thought it'd be a good idea to go back through the evolution of all the meetups from 49er Faithful UK, because obviously we were expecting anywhere between 200 and 300 people turning up on Sunday, and it hasn't always been like that. As well, you know, I mean, some of the meetups we've had, there's been half a dozen of us turn up. But the thing about that, when we did have meetups with half a dozen of us, they were still good meetups. We still talk about those meetups just as much as we talk about the others. So I thought it'd be good to go into that and go through what's going to happen on Sunday night as well. And because of what I'll now be doing on Sunday night, I do have a little bit more info about that. Plus, I've been able to ask some questions on behalf of other people, regarding the AFC Championship game, whether or not we're going to be able to get in early for that. So I'll be able to go through some of that and try and cover that off as well.
Yeah, so when you say no prep, Ali Reid, I reached out to Ali and his suggestion was a beauty. He wants us to go through all the players and work out which player we've used the most, which player's our favourite player. And I was saying to Tracy Lee, 18 games, however many snaps in a game, and we were trying to do the maths, and I was thinking, Ali Reid has set us a mental task there. We want to do it justice. So
it's the type of thing that Nadji's going to enjoy once Nadji can get onto the live show. So Nadji will be on the live show. The whole thing about doing the game tape, analysing players, that all came from Nadji. That's what he wants to do. So me and Paul were more than happy to say, fill your boots, Nadji. So when Nadji comes back, that probably is going to be top of his list to do.
Yeah, so as we said on the pod, thoughts with Nadji, looking forward to welcome Nadji back into the fold, which won't be long. And like you said, as soon as he volunteered to do the game breakdown, I was like, yep, that's something for Nadji. But when you suggested doing this, so everybody who did reply to Lee's post last week about topics, those topics have been saved away. I can't remember everybody, but we had some great topics, Lee. And that's what we want.
We did.
Apologies, we didn't do a short this week. I nearly jumped on Instagram waiting for my connecting train, but I thought, nah, I won't do it justice. So we're still in a bit of a learning curve. As Alex Simpson has put there, it's Championship week. We all needed that couple of days to get our breath back. And you said the evolution. So I remember my first UK watch party. So back then there were just a 49er Faithful UK meetup, weren't they? Like,
yeah.
There weren't a watch party as such.
That's right. I mean, what was the first one you went to? Was that the draft or the Buccaneers game?
The draft one. So me and you've talked about this, but for maybe people
So that was
tuning in,
2018.
2018,
Manchester.
yeah. So
Yeah.
April 2018, you guys put together a meet up for draft weekend. So single at the time, decided, throw caution to the wind, jump on the train and go meet a load of strangers on the internet. What could go wrong? And I think that was my first experience of Fireball. I think I bailed
Yeah.
on you and the
Yeah.
chaps at about 12:30, 1 in the morning. And I think you
Yeah.
guys were still there at what, 4?
Yeah,
Half
we
past
got
4?
kicked out 4 o'clock in the morning because the bar staff wanted to close the place up.
And I remember the next morning going for some breakfast to sober myself up, and I saw this big Stratton gent strutting towards me in the centre of Manchester with a Liverpool FC shirt on. And I thought, wow,
He
he's
must have been
brave.
trying car doors all the way up the street, was he?
I thought, he's brave walking around Manchester wearing that. Then I clocked the Niners hat, Martin Hughes, fresh as a daisy, and he delightfully told me that you guys had been kicked out with the pub last, and where had I gone? And I was like, I've never been a drinker. I'm certainly not in your league. And I think there was about 12 of us at that first one.
Yeah, that sounds about right. So that was the first. Obviously, that was the first one you'd been to. Yeah, there's about 12 of us there. Which, to be honest, considering it was a draft meetup, I was quite impressed with that because I wasn't expecting 12. Wasn't expecting getting double figures. But we had meetups before, so the meetups kind of started with the International Series game, and they weren't really proper meetups. It was a case of, right, if you go to the International Series game, why don't you come and meet everybody up with the Green Man? And that's what we did. Everybody stood about for about an hour before they filtered into Wembley to watch the game. Talked 49er football, met each other, put faces to names, because obviously it's the internet. You knew all these people, but you'd never met them. So that's how it started for the first 4 or 5 years, where we'd always meet up at each different International Series game. It got to a point where there was a lot of the same faces meeting up, so I'll pretty much be at them all. Martin Hughes, Rachel Cole, Brian Davis, Mike Palmer, up until the point he obviously left the group. So it kind of morphed back in 2015. 2015 is when we started thinking, well, how can we do this differently? Can we do it out of season? Is that going to interest people? At the time, it didn't. It took a couple of years for that to kind of take hold. And it was all down to the draft. And I think the draft, outside of 2015, so on July the 4th, 2015, we had a meetup in Manchester at the Printworks, and that was quite well attended. So I think there was about 13, 14 at that meetup. And then it kicked on from there. So that meetup was purely about just meeting people. Obviously, there was no football on or anything like that. So it was a case of meet the people you've been talking to for the last 5-6 years online and try and grow that community from that point onwards. And then obviously it morphed into, let's do a draft meetup. Let's do an in-season regular game meetup. The first being the Buccaneers game, which was your second meetup that you came, and you brought Tracy.
Yeah.
That was a dire game to watch. That was a really dire game. But again, we enjoyed it because we were all together. I can't remember the score. We got absolutely pezzled that day.
Well, I was going to say, just to stop you there as well, I can give away the secret now. So me and Tracy had met in the summer, hadn't been dating very long. We were trying to keep it secret from the kids. And I said, I'm going to Manchester this weekend to watch the 49ers play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Do you fancy joining me? Yeah, don't put it on social media, which for all of you that know me, at the time I wasn't running the 49er Faithful UK social media account. I said, no problem, we won't put anything on there. A couple of days later, she rings me at work and she's like, do you know your group, the 49er Faithful UK? They've got an Instagram account. And there was me and Tracy, proud, with a flag. And I was like, oh yeah, I didn't tell Lee. He couldn't put anything on. Now, the social media back then isn't what it is now. And whose son is the Buccaneers fan?
It was David Neve.
David Neve.
David Neve's
yeah.
son was the Buccaneers fan, and he came up. So he had a field day.
Yeah, so when I did the podcast last week with Andy Davies on Across the Pod, he described the NFL as a sport that rewards fans. He said if you get into the NFL and you pick the team that's at the top, they don't stay at the top for years and years.
Yeah, that's
And
right.
he gave a good example, the Broncos. If you became a Broncos fan when they won the Super Bowl, they haven't been back to the playoffs since. And I was like, I quite like that. And remember back to that game, the Buccaneers absolutely wiped the floor with us. They had their shiny new uniforms. It was the days before Tom Brady, obviously. And those were the days where I think we were lucky if we got 1 or 2 wins a season. And like you said, the meetup kind of gathered its own reputation because you normally, as a UK family, you sat at home like we were on Saturday night / Sunday morning on a video call or messaging your mate. But to meet up in person and watch the game, I had something special towards it. And I know we're going to touch upon this one coming, and obviously I've put it out there that I'm not going this Sunday. It'll be the first one I've missed. I'm gutted because you're going to mix the best of what we've had previously with the official watch party element, which we'll get onto. But when we put together this show, everyone, we wanted just to give you a taste of our community and where it's grown. And I did tweet out that we had the show this Sunday, and someone said, not another watch party in Leeds. And I thought,
yeah, eye roll moment.
So,
there's no such thing as a jinx.
Well, I mean, there's a few people in the chat. Martin Hughes clearly isn't watching because explain the Fireball as the drink before we move any further. I can see a few people saying, why on earth he's drinking Fireball like that? James
that's Martin Hughes. I mean, for some reason, actually, I mean, the way he explained it to me is, I don't think he pretty much drank Fireball before that moment. So it was the draft meetup where he went to get a shot of something and he decided it was going to be Fireball. So I think there was 4 or 5 of us took these shots of Fireball. And from that moment on, it suddenly became the 49er FIFA UK drink. Every single time we had a meetup, we were doing Fireball shots. To the point back in 2018, so it was the year before the 49ers got the Super Bowl against the Chiefs. So it was 2018 season, so it'll have been February 2019. As soon as he got off the train at Newcastle, because obviously we were at the Super Bowl meetup in Newcastle, he walked straight into the Centurion, and he didn't even come over to say hello to anybody. He went straight to the bar and bought 8 shots of Fireball and brought them straight over. That was the very first thing he did once he reached Newcastle. So it kind of kicked on from there a little bit. I just want to go back to something, and not to throw you under the bus, but Andy Davies was wrong, because the Broncos won Super Bowl 50 at Levi Stadium against the Panthers.
I think he's got his years. What he meant is after they've won that one, they haven't been back in the playoffs.
So I immediately thought you were talking about John Elway's their 2 back-to-back Super Bowls.
No, he was talking. So, like, my first watch party, for want of a better word, was that Super Bowl. I went up to Glasgow. I was in another Facebook group, the NFL Brits Union. I met my friend Darren, who was a Niner but isn't on social media. And watching the Super Bowl with that amount of people in the committee rooms number 9, and I think I remember saying to you back when we met up in the April, and we used to go up to Newcastle and watch the Super Bowl. You know, there was 7 of us went to watch the Rams versus the Patriots, and we talked about this on the pod. We booked our 2019 season Super Bowl party at the start, and that was when Jimmy, Jay, the Saints, and we had something to look forward to. We knew we had the Super Bowl party at the end of the year, but I think the reason the Edinburgh one lives in the memory is the fact that we had the Bucks game and it was terrible. Then we all went up to Edinburgh. It was in a proper sports bar. There was a lot of us, given that. When I say a lot of us,
there was 18 of us. There was 18.
And then that was
a fair size
at the time. The Saints fans, and obviously the way that game went backwards and forwards. And you fast forward to today, and the news breaks and of official watch party. You've seen NFL UK have tweeted it out. We've got our new super fan, the gymnast, who I'm dying to get him to reply to a tweet or an Instagram, but it's nice to see him rocking his 23 jersey, Lee, and promoting the watch party. I've had a few people ask whether he'll be there on Sunday. Who knows?
I have absolutely no idea. If I knew, I'd tell you about it. But I do know the 49ers got quite excited when they saw that, because I don't think they'd been given any prior knowledge that that was going to happen.
Well, I was excited when I saw him out there for the Rams game, and I just basically came across a Facebook page with him stood at the Golden Gate Bridge saying that he was going to the game, and I'll be honest, I wasn't 100% sure who he was, but you see GB athlete, you see he's been in the Olympics, he's promoting the team, so similar.
I'll be honest, Paul, I'd rather Roy Keane came.
Well, I was just about to say...
If Roy Keane said put in Leeds, it'd all kick off.
Well, I was just about to say, seeing Roy Keane being a Niner, well, I didn't have that on my bingo card for this year, and I've had some fun sharing that tweet. NFL UK get a bit of stick for some of their social media, but the tweet that they put out with Roy stood there saying, "Why are you celebrating? It's just your job." That has to be the best tweet that page has ever done. But you go, so Edinburgh was the heights of where we'd got to, wasn't it? That's where I think when we did the pod afterwards, we all sat down and
So
thought,
I think what helped Edinburgh was the fact that it was such a close game, and we got that final second field goal as well. Obviously, that could have been so much different had that play not happened, had the Kittle play not happened. It'd have been so much different, and I don't think we'd have remembered it as fondly, considering the state we were all in the next morning, because I was dying for days on end. And yeah, I think had that been a loss, that would definitely be one to forget. So I think it's a case of you make it what it is. I think that's pretty much true about any sort of meetup you go to. If you don't make the most of it and enjoy it with friends who are also there to do the same thing as you, then I think you're bound to have a bad night. I mean, last year's NFC Championship game, it was still a good night. It was just a really bad result, which kind of soured the night. And hopefully this year we're not going to have that. We're not going to have the same thing. It's going to be a good night, and we're going to come away with the result.
Yeah, I mean, like we said, I've seen the talk with Leeds, and we always kind of knew that. Me and Lee knew that when we beat the Packers, there was going to be a watch party, and we knew it was going to be in Leeds, and we teased it out. But it just goes to show that the organisation are working closely with the UK fans, and it's great to see. Obviously, we went out to Levi's. Nick Clark looked after us, seeing the stuff that they're doing on social media. They looked after the chaps that were there at the weekend, and the community we've built. I think it's a disjustice to say we're just a Facebook group, but that's how we started. That's how I found you guys. I thought I was only Niners fan in the UK. You find the 49er Faithful UK, and we've only recently just moved away from Facebook with the Discord edition, with the YouTube, with the podcast, and like you said, I like that. The meetups, you go for the social aspect. You go because you want to talk Niners football. You want to hang out with your friends, and you want to make it similar to when you go to a match over here for whatever sport you support.
So I think that's been one of the main things that we've learned from the watch parties. So what's this one? This one will be official watch party number 4, because we've had the Falcons, we had the Eagles, we had the Browns. So this will be the official one, number 4. And obviously, if you're part of the group, you know what I do after every single watch party. I do a lessons learned. So we know how to make the next ones better. And on the very first watch party, a lot of people who'd been to 49er Faithful UK meetup prior to that all turned around and said they preferred the 49er Faithful UK meetup because you got a lot more chance to actually sit down and talk to people. So we took that on board. In every watch party since, we've kind of met up a lot earlier, and we've had that interaction that we used to have at the 49er Faithful UK meets. So we kind of blended that in with the watch party. And obviously we've had some problems with the watch party in the past. The one back in October where they oversubscribed on tickets and people were getting turned away to the overflow bar, that didn't particularly go down well. The suggestions went into how we can do that, how we can get around that. And the good news is this time they're going to be oversubscribed. There's only 350 tickets on sale. And I actually think the venue holds 450, but part of that capacity is downstairs, not in that main floor where we're going to be. So I'm quite confident that every single person who's registered for a ticket will get in.
Yeah.
So they are learning the lessons, and we're kind of tailoring in it a little bit.
So before we move on, we've got a favourite in the chat. So Rob, it's been a day one since we went live, and I think if you remember rightly, Lee, we sent him and his partner best wishes last time. He's put the Niner Empire, truly an amazing bunch. Last live he saw, he told us the news about his girlfriend, that she was in a coma. He's added that she's passed on the 17th, and the support he's received from the people in the chats, the hosts, and the New York City Niner Empire has been amazing. There's obviously me and Lee want to pass on our condolences, buddy. I know you're getting a lot of love.
Sorry to hear that, Rob.
You're getting a lot of love in the chat, and we appreciate you joining us. And as he's put there, thank you, everyone. It's been a tough 2024 so far. So we do appreciate you joining us, Rob. We hope you're going to enjoy this light-hearted look at the evolution of the watch party, because we have moved away from doing stuff on the lives about the game. And the feedback we've had, Lee, over the last few weeks is people like the break. They like the fact that they know the pod's the pod. They can tune in for the preview show, the review show.
Yeah.
And we're keeping people guessing with some of the topics. But have you got any news for Sunday then? Because you've alluded to...
Any news?
Any news?
I mean, obviously, I posted in the group, let everybody know that I'm actually going to host the event. So that came as a little bit of a surprise. So normally I always say to people, look, come up and talk to us. So there's a lot of newbies going who haven't been to a meetup before, and I would always say, come over, I don't bite. I'd love to talk to anybody that comes up to talk to us. Sunday, I think I'm going to be a little bit busy. So I'm going to be taking over the Nick Clark role. I'm going to be getting the whole crowd chanting with the various different things, the player introductions, the defense chant. I'm the one that's going to be basically comparing the raffles at the end of each quarter, and doing the welcome message at the start as well. So yeah, I think I'm not sure how much time I'm going to get once I get in there to actually to actually talk to people. But it'll be interesting to see how it goes. And I think the biggest concern now is when I do the lessons learned, I get a whole load of replies saying, get rid of that bloody stupid host, he was rubbish.
Well,
bring back Nick Clark.
I was going to say, I know Eric Oregard's coming down from the admin
He
team.
is.
Unfortunately, myself, Nadji and Gareth can't make it. So I'm kind of gutted because being the social media guy, I'd have loved to capture all the footage. So what I will say to people is if you're there with your phone, make sure you get footage of Lee. He's going to bring the fire. He's going to do Nick Clark justice. Obviously, Nick will be at Levi's for the championship game. They are working closely with Leeds United and the box staff. But I must admit, Lee, I was a bit giddy when you reached out to us in the group chat and you said, I've been asked to host. And then it was like, the realisation sank in you, like, bloody hell, I'm going to have to do a good job like Nick Clark.
Yeah.
We were like, yeah.
So, I mean, the good thing is, you know, I've been in the gold mine quite a few times now. I've been at the watch parties. I know exactly what Nick does. There's so many people that's going to be there. They're going to know what it's all about, bringing the energy. So I'm going to have all those to rely on. So when I'm doing the example at the start, like Nick normally does, so let's do a practice run through of the players. Starting at right tackle, number I can't even remember what number he is now. Number 68,
68, and he's your player
68.
watch.
I know he is. I know. Disgraceful. I don't know that. Number 68, Carlton Mekevitz. So I'm going to have a lot of people to rely on there, and there's plenty of friendly faces in the crowd. I think it'll go okay. And like I said, you need to bring your A game. We need to have this as lit as possible. So the cameras are going to be there, but it's not going to be the Sky cameras. It's going to be a local videographer who's going to video on behalf of the 49ers. Some of that footage is going to go into Sky Sports. So 10:45, no, 10:45, there'll be like group photos, group video. I'm the one that's going to arrange, get everybody around to do that. So once that's done, that video is going to go straight off to Sky Sports. I think it needs to be there before 10 o'clock. And they're going to use it in the preview of the game.
Oh, that's awesome.
So it should be interesting. And like I said, there's going to be plenty of pictures and video taken.
So Ty's got an important question. Will Lee begin the watch party in a suit and then change into his casual Niners clothes like Nick Clark? Stay tuned.
So Nick Clark doesn't do that at watch parties. He turns up in casual.
He does.
Yeah, so he does do that. He does do that in the gold mine. So he always wears a suit to meet people, and then he goes off and gets into some more comfortable wear.
So I know Wayne, who has been re-added back into the admin team, he'll be there taking his own photos. He said, let me know if I can help. Justin, there'll be plenty of photos. It's one of those things where I kind of hadn't really thought ahead like you. So I didn't have the Monday off work, but I know we'll be back in a couple of weeks for an even bigger game, which I'm hoping for. But we've kind of gone down a rabbit hole, which what me and you do. So before we move back to the evolution of the watch parties, so everybody who is coming on Sunday needs to just follow the link that you've shared, register for a ticket. It's a free ticket, but you do need to have one to get in, isn't it, Lee?
So you need to have an account on Ticketmaster. You need to have an account on the 49ers app. Because the original link takes you to the 49ers app and then straight back out again to Ticketmaster. but it links. It's like an iframe. Do you know what an iframe is? I'm going to get all techie on you now. So it's a little bit like an iframe. It's gonna pop up a window within a window, so you never really leave the 49ers app. You're going to get your ticket, and then it's going to take you back to the 49ers app where you can manage the tickets. But believe it or not, as soon as you click on manage tickets, it takes you back out of the 49ers app, back to Ticketmaster. It's a whole convoluted thing that they've done there. But yeah, as long as you've got a Ticketmaster account and a 49ers app account, you're golden. You can marry the two together and get the tickets. And like Paul said, the tickets are free. They haven't charged. It's interesting to have a look at some of the stuff that's written on the playbook they've got. So in project management, or project management in software development, you can use something called a playbook, and it's kind of steps to take, what everybody's responsibilities are, when they're going to do, what the expected output is, that type of thing. And because they've asked me to be host, then I've seen this playbook, but I'm not going to tell you what's in it because I've got no authority to tell you what's in it. But some of the stuff that's in there, I've questioned. I've asked for clarity about that. So one of the things that I can tell you about. So the official the official start time, it was originally 10 o'clock. It's now being moved to 9 o'clock. So I've just made them aware that most people, including myself, we can be turned up at 7 o'clock, an hour before the AFC Championship game begins, because we all want to get in there, find somewhere to stand or sit, get a drink, get something to eat, and watch the AFC game. So I've made sure that that's not going to impact any of the other plans, because there's certain things on the timeline that I've seen on there, and I thought, well, if we're all there at 7 o'clock, that's going to have an impact at 9 o'clock. So I'm making them aware. I don't think there'll be an issue. I'm not just waiting for them to get back to us.
I mean, we went there for the Falcons one, and you think of the evolution of the watch party. So for those people tuning in across the pond, watching American football in a sports bar in the UK isn't as straightforward as you think, especially if there's a big Premier League game on and it overlaps with the 6 p.m. UK start time. So there was a lot of rumours ahead of the official watch party at the Falcons. It's cold in the northeast of England, people. So we ain't waiting outside like Nick Clark likes us to do to get the footage. It worked in sunny London, but normally us in the UK, I know there's people like to think we like to Cooley, but ahead of that first watch party, there was a bit of a rumour you weren't going to get in. And because the box is open to the public up until the event starts, we all went down ridiculously early. I think me and Paul Scrimshaw got there as the Sky Sports guys were doing the initial lighting check, and they were like, "Is it coming in now?" We were like, "Yeah, we're here for the duration." And we kind of made that bit in the middle, our camp, didn't we? And Neil Graham set his flags up, and then people who were new to the group, as soon as they come through the door, they saw all the Niners fans, they felt very relaxed. So I can understand why you're doing that on Sunday. And again, we're NFL fans. Yes, the NFC Championship game isn't on until 11:30 in the UK. But like you said there, everybody's going to want to watch the AFC one.
Yeah, so what you mentioned there about it being difficult to watch sports in pubs in the UK, another thing that you've missed out there is the fact that on a Sunday night, last orders in a bar in the UK is 10:30.
Yeah.
So generally they don't sell alcohol after 10:30 on a Sunday night, but they have got a late license to run through. And one thing I do know is that both food, a limited food and drink menu will be available till the end of the game at 4 o'clock in the morning.
And then I've seen it's like end of the fourth quarter, out. I've seen that. Now, Colin, people keep reaching out. Unfortunately, I love the community. I know people want me to be there. It's just not happening for me this weekend. But I will be supporting from afar. I've got this comment start. Ty, Lee will not have a voice left on Monday.
Yeah, I can well believe that, Ty.
The pod, we may need someone to fill in on a Monday night for the pod, because Lee might be able just to join and wave.
No, honestly, I take notice of what Nick does and how he does it. So while all he uses chanting, all I'm going to do is start it off. I'll be defence once, and then all you can take over.
So Colin's put there that he's happy to help if needed. But the growth, I know the UK Bills fan chapter had a watch party a few weeks ago, and Phoebe Schechter shouted them out, and I'd replied to a tweet saying, basically congratulations. And then I shared a picture of our London one, and a few of the other fan groups were like, "You're raining on their parade." And I was like, "I'm not. any fan base that meets up in the UK, we started 7, 8, 9, 10. I know the Vikings hosted at the same venue as our London watch party, but it was in
Yeah.
between Christmas and New Year. It was always going to be a difficult ask.
Yeah.
And like you've said, I know a few people have questioned the Leeds connection again. Obviously, the Niners have got the Leeds connection with Leeds United. As soon as the game finished on early hours of Sunday morning, these plans were put in place. We don't know.
Well, I can kind of let you into a little bit more of a secret there. So it wasn't at the end of the game against the Green Bay Packers. This had been planned since the start of the year.
Yeah,
It's just that they couldn't make it. Yeah,
they
they couldn't make it official until
So the link again. We finished our pod on Monday night. I came downstairs to a message in the admin group chat. The tickets had gone live, and I thought, I've only just been speaking to Lee. I didn't even know that I had gone live. And then there was the mix-up where you thought the ticket had sold out. People weren't sure.
Yeah, because a few people had said the tickets were sold out, and I mentioned that to Nick Clark, and he said, no, that can't be right. There's less than 100 being registered.
So
The only problem is, well, once you've bought your maximum tickets, you can't go in and check again. Now, there's some confusion over the maximum tickets as well. Somebody had said you could get 4, somebody else said you can get 2, somebody else said it was only 1. I know when I went on, I got 4 tickets straight away because, again, this is my own lessons learned from last time. When they went on sale and it was advertised by Leeds United, we feel as though there was a load of Leeds fans who had no intention of going registered the tickets. Because on the night, I think there was 500 tickets registered, and on the night there was about 220, 230 people. So it was only half turned up. And I spent all of that week trying to get people tickets who'd missed out on them because of that. So straight away I went on and got 4 tickets. And it's a good job I've done. So 2 of those tickets have already gone to new owners who aren't on Facebook and didn't see that. So yeah, that's kind of what I did. And I think a few people may have gone for the maximum to begin with. Potentially not. I don't know.
I was tempted. I mean, I thought if I register for a ticket and I get a ticket, that means I'm coming. And I knew I didn't have the time off work. I didn't have the funds. I just, like you said off air, if it was the earlier game, if it was like last year, I probably could have driven down, driven back. But the fact that it's a later game and I didn't want to stay over, so. But we've kind of, the lessons learned, it feels crazily to say this is going to be our 4th official watch party.
Yeah,
When
definitely, because we only thought we'd have 1 last year and we ended up having 2.
Well, when you think back to when we had the first Zoom call with Nick Clark, and then we came off that Zoom call, and like you, I was thinking, it's going to be once in a lifetime. We're going to have this one big watch party, and we see what you guys do across the pond. We see all the invasions. We see that you meet up on the Saturday night, and then you do the invasion on the Sunday. And we've wanted a piece of that, Lee. We've looked from afar and thought, that is epic. And the love we got shown from the 49ers at the London watch party, obviously they promoted it on their social media. The fact that they did the same when we went to the gold mine, I have no doubt that footage from this weekend's event will end up on the 49ers website in some capacity. Wayne has just messaged me, but he's put it on here. He said that he's checked the 49ers app. There's no tickets in there, but they're in his email. Is this correct?
Actually, I think that might be correct. So if you go back to the link in the group, click on the link, it'll log you in. Once you're logged in, it'll ask if you want to manage your tickets. When you go to manage your tickets, it takes you to the app. Well, it won't because you'll be on a browser. Actually, no, if you do it on your phone, it'll take you to the app and then it'll show you your tickets. Because I noticed that as well.
See, like
I said, it's a bit of a convoluted way this app and Ticketmaster integrations work. I don't think they're kind of getting it right.
I'm going to say, when we went to the Golden State Warriors game, I got the email off Lee. Thought, damn, they kept saying, your phone is your ticket. And we got to the Chase Arena, and it wasn't a ticket. And it was so funny when Nadji came with me to the counter, and the woman was like, I don't understand. Then they got someone else over, and then they got someone else over. And after about 25 minutes, I got in with a paper ticket. It just made me chuckle. After all that, I got in with a paper ticket. But Anthony's put there that his is showing. So don't worry, Wayne. I'm sure email link, you'll get in. Now, I'm guessing the plans haven't been finalised yet, Lee, but I know the game doesn't start till 11:30, but you've alluded to getting to the box early. I'm believing the takeover in Leeds will begin even earlier than that, if I know how your mind works.
Well, I mean, you're saying how my mind works. So I've been kind of waiting to make plans because I wasn't sure if I was going to drive down, I wasn't sure I was going to get a train down. Obviously, there's a particular reason I wasn't sure if I was going to drive down. I can definitely
Has that been cleared up?
It kind of.
Oh, no.
So the speeding ticket came through today, and they've clocked us doing 7 mile an hour slower than what I thought I was doing. I think that's more on the calibration of their camera because I was definitely doing the speed I was doing. So yeah, because of that, it's actually gone under that threshold where I'm going to receive a ban. So if I want, I can drive down there. But because I'm now hosting, I think I'm probably just going to get the train down. In fact, I am going to get the train down. So I'm hoping to get there no later than 4 o'clock. I'll more than likely get there maybe it's 3 o'clock. And then we can meet up with some of the other guys, probably the head of Steam. However, somebody did reach out to me not too long ago, and it was a sports bar in Leeds, to say, look, if you're looking for somewhere to basically have a group meet, our bar's ideal for you. So I'm going to see what they can offer us and have like a pre-meet, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, well, that's what we did before the the official watch party when the Chicago Bears one got changed, but we were all in Leeds anyway.
Yeah.
So we went to the
head of Steam,
didn't we? And then we all walked down to the box. Now, I've seen a few people give the box a bit of criticism, but the 2 watch parties I've been to that early, I thought the venue was fantastic. I thought the staff were good. I thought the layout was good. I thought the atmosphere. I can't wait to see the footage of you guys going live on Instagram. Eric is going to be bringing the fire. I know he's been watching from afar, living in Singapore, so I am kind of gutted that I'm not there. And I've seen some names. Is Brett Sinclair going?
That's
not what I want to know.
Brett's not going. He doesn't have the days off work, and he's got something that he needs to do on the Monday at work, so he can't really go to this one. But he is looking to go to the Super Bowl one, regardless of where it's at.
So what that means, Brett, is I'm no doubt you're going to be video calling me. So don't worry, buddy. I will make sure that my stream is the same time as yours, because I do not want a repeat of last weekend. But I thought I hadn't seen his name on there. So obviously I will be in the Discord chat. I'll be on the Facebook group. Obviously, I think we'll probably look to set up a video call like we did last week, because that was a blast.
Yeah. So I might be able to, based on assumption, I might be able to have a stab in the dark at where, if we do get through the Super Bowl, where the meetup won't be. So obviously we all expected it to be Elland Road on Sunday night because it's a short turnaround time. They've got the facility to do that. They've got the capability to do that. But Leeds are playing at home on Saturday, and the feeling was, not sure, Neil. I'll get back to you on that one. The feeling was that 24 hours to turn the venue around wasn't enough time. That wasn't the feeling from me, it was the feeling from the 49ers. I have a different opinion. I think they could have turned that around no problem within 24 hours. I don't think it takes that much effort. But the problem we have is Leeds are also playing at home the day before the Super Bowl. So they'd have the same problem. And if they're not going to do it for this one, I don't think they'll do it for the next one. And for the next one, if it is the Super Bowl, I have a feeling that they're going to expect a lot more people turning up than what they're expecting for this one. So potentially, my gut feeling is that's going to be back down in London. It's going to be at a much larger venue to hold as many people as possible. Now, we estimated we probably had 400, I think it was 450 people we had turn up. That includes the people that were turned away. So that was for a mid-season, regular season game. If the 49ers get the Super Bowl, I expect there to be a lot more interest. So we're going to be having to look for a venue 500 plus, easy.
Yeah. So
now, I know of a venue, but it's like holds 2,000 people, so it might be a little bit overkill. But that would be the perfect venue as well because of where it's at, and that's the box, Wembley.
You
Box
mentioned
Park, I think you call
London.
it.
So I wasn't sure if we were going to have this conversation, but I mentioned to Tracy, because when the Niners are in the Super Bowl, she wants to come the watch party, and I said London, and I'm just hoping that my friend at work is right, that this 50% deal on train tickets, which is about to kick in, because I've
Yeah.
already looked at some of the train prices for that day, and I'm like, oh man, I forget how expensive it can be to get
Yeah.
to London. Obviously, I haven't ruled out driving down yet. I mean, that's what, 5-6 hours in the car for us to drive down to London.
Depends on whether or not you want a speeding ticket.
I
It's
was
like
about to say.
3.5 hours for me. I wouldn't recommend it though. Costs you a fortune.
Yeah. But so what we're trying to say at this point is there's plans in the background that when the Niners do get to the Super Bowl, we will be hosting in some capacity. Now, I know Sarah, who's in our group, if you're on the Facebook page and you're not looking to come to the official 49er Faithful UK /49ers Super Bowl watch party, she's putting together, Lee, a post in the group like she's done the last few years. So I know Keitha is going to walk about in Brighton. I've seen a couple of people going to a pub in Swindon. I know there's a couple of people in Scotland, the Irish Faithful, are having their meet up. So what Sarah's collating, Lee, is just a bit of a map
Yeah,
of where
that's
it is
right.
in the UK.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what they're chatting at about in the group. I'm not sure what Neil's laughing at. So I think we've been joined by a Rams fan. Now, he hasn't been on before, Lee, when you've been on. So,
So I did recognise the name, so I must have been watching.
so Jim Everett,
Jim Everett, the great Niners will win. Jim, hand in your Rams card.
So
You won't see me predicting a Rams win, will you, Paul?
not at all, Jim. I won't tag you in any post or podcast.
I can't believe you. I can't believe you didn't pick up on that, Paul. Went straight over your head, didn't it?
Yeah, go on, why?
Because I did predict a Rams win
Yeah, but that's what I
against us.
Well, I was going to say, I was meaning I wouldn't point him towards that
Right.
tweet, that podcast, but we're just
Alright.
not on the same page yet, Lee.
No, not
It-
yet.
it-
It's chemistry. It's a chemistry thing.
It's a chemistry thing, yeah. So, Neil's laughing at your speeding joke. Let's face it, Neil, he hasn't been laughing until that letter arrived. He's been rather worried up
Well,
until
I mean,
this point.
I still don't know. I still don't know what's going to happen. All I've had to do at the moment is just say, yeah, it was me that was driving. I've got the lovely picture, and this really annoys us even more. I'm going to show you. I'm going to put it. Let me just check here. Is there anything on there that shouldn't be on there?
Top secret plans, messages from Jed,
Right.
information
No,
from Nick
no.
Clark.
No, it's the picture of me speeding. So I was on the A1. I mean, it's a 3-carriageway motorway. It was late at night. Not a soul on there. And I kind of just let me guard down a little bit. And when I say a little bit, I mean I was doing 88 mile an hour on a 70. Where's it at? There you go. Look at that. I'm the only car on that carriageway. Seriously. Nothing there.
Some people may say that's photoshopped.
that is incredibly annoying. Incredibly annoying.
Yeah.
But I live and learn. First time in 32 years.
So, Jim, you're going to have to save that kind of talk for the podcast, buddy. But we'll let you off because you might not have been here for the last few weeks. And as
Well, I do
Anthony
agree with
said,
you, mind.
I agree. We said it on the
Yeah.
pod the other night. Ty, you're going to need to get this printed on a T-shirt.
You know what? So, when it came through, when it originally happened, my wife is probably like most people's partners, giving us daggers when it's happening, you know. And I thought I was maybe 91, 92, and she says, no, you're definitely 95, because I'd look as soon as the camera went off. So that's what I thought I'd done, 95, which comes with a ban. It comes with a 28 to 57 day ban, depending on how they view it. So that's what I was expecting, but then it came through and it said 88. So my wife kind of texted us, say, so are you happy with that? I said, well, I'm going to challenge it. She says, are you serious? I says, yeah, of course I'm serious. I'm going to challenge it. I'm going to court. I'm just going to tell them that I was distracted for a moment, and no, I was going to do it on diminished responsibility. I was daydreaming that I travelled to the future from 1985 and I had to get my car up to 88 mile an hour to get back to the past.
I do like a Back to the Future reference. Now, Wayne We're not trying to show off. We're not condoning speeding on this show. We normally don't advocate gambling, but he's got one up on you there, El Presidente. He got one
Yes.
recently, and he was a little bit faster. So
I'll tell you what, the next annoying thing is, had I been going 2 mile an hour slower, I'd have been offered the driver awareness course. I wouldn't have gotten a fine. I wouldn't have gotten the points.
I remember the first time you picked me up, and when we leave mine, we headed onto the bypass, and you put your foot down. I was like,
Yeah,
bloody
this is
hell,
definitely a rabbit hole.
It certainly is. But this is what the Wednesday Live is all about. So we wanted to obviously bring a touch of what the likes of Breezy and Chapman do to the
Yeah.
community. I said we've gone live tonight with the loose plan of talking about the watch party, talking about the community. Now, what I want to ask you, which is slightly different because you are going
Yeah.
to be hosting, you've seen the watch party grow from what it was back in 2015 when we were in London. The reason we used to stay away from London is because you said there was the international series, people were already travelling to London. So your dream was always to move it around, wasn't it, Lee?
It was. And now I feel as though it's not going to happen as much as it used to. Mainly because it's so expensive to go to these weekends. And what was happening was, I think one year we had 3 meetups in the same year. And there's an expectation that I would be at them all, because obviously I'm the one that organises them. And that's effectively 3 weekends away. So it's an expensive do. But then obviously the 49ers now have an official watch party. It's here to stay. There's going to be at least one a year. This year, technically, they should have done 2 because that's what they were planning on doing. One in the north, one in the south. It's kind of worked out that way because we get in the NFC Championship game. But the idea was regular season games. But because of that, I'm now not able to move it around the country like I used to. But I'm still thinking that next season we definitely need to have a meetup in Ireland. Well,
Yeah.
sorry, either Ireland or Northern Ireland. So that hasn't been decided yet because there's good venues in both. And I still think we need to do that, as well as Germany. Obviously, we're going back probably before COVID now, when we had that list of where to go next. So we had Bristol. So Bristol was the next one. And COVID kind of stymied that. But then in 2022, back in November 2022, we did Bristol. And then 2023 was supposed to be Ireland. But then that's when we found out about the official watch party. So we had to say, well, we can't do that because people's not going to go to both of them. And we wanted it to be well attended. I'm now of the opinion, because like I said before, even when there's only 6 of us, we enjoyed it. So we can have smaller meetups and they can still be just as good as the larger ones.
Well,
That's why we that's why we encourage people.
Yeah,
Have
that's
you,
all I
if you can't make leads, if you can't make leads, do your own meetup, because it's still worthwhile doing. You don't need one of us there to make it worthwhile doing.
I'm kind of Barry. I'm gutted as well, but I'm putting all my eggs in the Super Bowl basket, and in a way, I'm kind of interested to see how it works with, because I'm normally there with you, and I know Eric's going to be there, I know Wayne's going to be there, Colin has mentioned the chat, and I did say to Connor, shall we go to the Stockton Casino on Sunday night? And I was thinking, I haven't ruled that out yet, but if you're having mini meetups around the UK, and I know a few people had said, oh, how come you have the mini meets up in the north? And it was like, well, if you look at where the location is, it's because we all live there. And that's why I'm promoting. So the Irish faithful, they have obviously started to do their own group. They are having plans to have a meet-up, which we will share on Twitter. Like you said, we were due to go to Ireland, but then COVID hit. But what I was going to ask you is, ahead of this weekend, forget the Razzmatazz, forget the fact that you're hosting. What is it that you're looking forward to the most this weekend?
Winning.
Yes.
I've got to say it's winning. So, I mean, again, because I've been to so many meetups, so many watch parties, it'll all be the same. Well, it won't be the same. Little tweaks every now and again. I think it's going to be unique for me to actually host it. Really looking forward to that. I mean, as you know, the two watch parties we've been to, whenever Nick starts off the chant and I'm pretty much the first one in there, helping him out with that. And he kind of singles me out anyway. Says, "Come on, Lee, get this going." So yeah, I'm looking forward to doing that. But I am more looking forward to winning that game.
So Mr. Peplow wasn't coming to the watch party. And then he messaged me and said, "Are you going?" I said, "No, mate, it's not happening." And then I find out today, Jay, that you are going. But I'm hoping that you will help out. If you've met Jay, I'm sure he'll be involved in the chanting and the shouting. So Barry, the venue you had at Glasgow was excellent. So that's what we're saying. I mean, John Chapman says it better than me. We're not in competition with any other fan chapter, any other fan group. We're all Niners fans. We all want to watch our team. And if you can get out and watch the game. Like you said, it is a bit difficult, this one, with it being an 11:30 p.m. kickoff because of the licensing laws.
Yeah.
If you're going to do a local one, you're probably going to be a casino or a private watch party.
Yeah, casinos, it's nailed on that you can get in there, watch the game.
Yeah. So Jay is happy to help out. Justin, don't worry, buddy. So Justin has become a big part of the Discord community. He's flying the flag in Alabama, and he's put there that he's just irritating. They're so far away. All these meetups, watch parties. He wants to join us, and this show's making him so mad. One day, Justin, I never thought I would get out to Levi's, and Lee always said the day that I went, he'd be there by my side. And I've got to contend myself with Lee that I did get to Levi's this year. So if I have to miss a watch party in the UK, give me that choice at the start of the season. I know which one I'd have been taken. Oh, sorry, Justin. Correction there, my geography. Oklahoma. But we're still buzzing, Justin, that your flag got there quicker than ones in the UK. So God knows what happened there, Lee.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. I mean, I sent it on the Monday and you had it on the Friday, and that's just unprecedented. All the other flags I've sent to the States, it's taken 3-4 weeks.
Yeah, so we will be back tomorrow with the preview show of the NFC Championship game. We will be joined by a friend of the show. That's all I'm going to say. So I'm not sure when the pod will drop, because obviously we record on a Thursday night. Lee is a very busy man, but I'm hoping we'll get it out Friday, possibly Saturday, Lee.
Oh, it'll definitely be out Friday. Without a shadow of a doubt, it'll be out Friday. If I can get that out Thursday night, I'm getting it out Thursday night.
So what happens, everybody, is we turn up. As you know, Gareth hosts the most thankless job in sports entertainment. Me and Nadji normally turn up and just do all the talking. And poor Lee, when we finish and go, bye, Lee has to do all the editing. Now, you look like you've seen something.
I have. I've put it on. I'm very tempted to say Freddie Solomon, but I'm not. I think it was Freddie, you know. I don't know. Where's Neil Graham? Is Neil Graham still on here? I can't see him in the comments. It's all right, because I know Neil's not going to look it up on Google because he's a bit of a technophobe, but he'd have to ask Ruth how to do it. So he can answer it.
Well, Justin has put that Solomon was
Yeah.
the guess. A bit more of a hint. On the first drive, Joe Montana scored a 1-yard Russian touchdown with 6 minutes 30 left in the
Right.
first quarter. So, before
I'm
my
wrong.
time.
I'm wrong.
Before my time.
Yeah, but surely you've gone back and watched those games because you got them on DAZN. You can go back and watch the classic Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
Honestly, I watch them every year. I watch them every year, but
I've been and watched them, but recently, I'm not going to lie, I focused more on the historical rivalry with the Cowboys, and obviously we give Noah a cheeky shout out. He kind of listened to last night's Podley because his dad messaged me with a load of laughing emojis, but Noah hasn't picked up on it yet. However, I do have some breaking news, Lee, which involves our young Dallas Cowboys fan. He has now publicly declared that the 49ers are his favourite NFC West team. So for me, it's already started, buddy. We're going to get that red and gold jersey on him before long. We might even get him on the podcast if he decides to become a 49ers fan.
yeah.
So, so Gopher has been in the chat before. I remember him saying 49ers fan since 69. And he's put there's not much before his time. So Anything else that you want to say about the watch party, Lee? Because we are approaching the hour.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know what the raffle prizes are going to be. I think they'll probably be the same as what they were last year. I think there was a couple of definitely a couple of jerseys because Paul got one. Brandon Ayuk. There's a couple of gold chains, and maybe it's a mini helmet or football or something like that. I can't remember.
No.
I think that's the type of thing that'll be.
I think it was just jerseys at Leeds. Jerseys.
Was it? Oh no, there's definitely
Jerseys and the
gold.
gold chains.
I was going to say
Jerseys and
there's
the gold
definitely gold
chains.
chains because Matty Johnson,
Yeah.
Jamie Burgess, and there was somebody else got one as well. So it was definitely gold chains. Again, the giveaways as well. No idea what the giveaways are going to be. I would have said you'd get them as you go in, but if we're going to be there at 7 o'clock, that might not happen. They might put the table up a little bit later, and then you'll go and give a ticket or something like that. Pretty much similar thing to what happened last time at the box. Yeah. So not entirely sure. So I mean, now that I listened to that, I've given you no information there whatsoever, other than there's going to be raffles and there's going to be a free giveaway. I've no idea what they are.
I was going to jump in on this point and say that obviously it's an official 49ers watch party. The staff from Leeds United and the box will be assisting, but effectively you're hosting. So I know that everybody in the community is awesome. I would just say if it is your first time there, just bear with a bit of patience. There'll be enough giveaways for everybody. I know Jay, Colin, Eric, Wayne are going to lend you a hand. I am looking forward to seeing all the footage. Kev, we'll just make Discord the place to be for those people who aren't joining. And that's what I do love about this community. People, not everybody can go. And that's what you've said all along. Like, the aim of the watch party to start with, it was just meeting some mates in a pub. And that's why we moved it around. Like you said, we've been to Manchester, we've been to Edinburgh. You were hoping to go to Ireland. There was plans for Germany. And that was before the NFL were playing games in Germany, may I add, because obviously we've got the...
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
we've got the Germany chapter over there.
Yeah. So you got 49ers Germany and Niner Empire Germany, I think it is. I think that's the names, Niner Empire Germany and 49ers Germany.
Yeah, I think the Niner Empire Germany were out at the Bucks game the same time as us, but I didn't want to get the name wrong. So now you've said that. Ty can't make it. Now, in the next coming weeks, we are going to have some new topics. We're going to have some guest appearances. We keep saying to Ty that we're going to get him on. If you haven't checked out the show with Ty that he did with me about my trip to Levi's, it's awesome. Also, check out Ty's show. I don't know about you, Lee. I always watch it back the next day because it's on too early, too late for us. The Red and Gold, the East Red and Gold podcast with Jess and
East Coast Red and Gold.
There's that many of them on, and I just absolutely belly laugh.
Jess, Matty B, Margot Bex, Ty.
And I know Ty also does his shows with David and Bryant. So you know me. I like to listen and watch to all of them.
I have noticed, I don't know if they've been doing this before, but I have noticed that both Brian and David are now wearing suits.
On some of their shows, yeah.
Yeah, so I wasn't quite sure whether or not that's just NFC week, because I had noticed it before.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure on that. I was kind of hoping to jump on with Bryant either last weekend or the weekend before, because Tracy was out and about, but the timings haven't felt right. And it's a bit like Aaron, who does the 49ers First Takes with Ted. He wants to join us for a stream. So, Aaron, we might have to get you on this show first, our time, which would be good to get on. So, yes, there's an official watch party in Leeds this weekend. Bless you. Jay's put there that he loves the official ones, but nothing will match in his eyes our ones. Yeah. I think you'll be surprised, Jay. I think this weekend's going to be a good mix. I think you're getting there early enough.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good mix this weekend. I am really looking forward to that, see how that dynamic works out.
Brian and David wear suits
on Sundays. Right.
Very, very professional. Not like us who just rock up in our Niners gear. And Neil
well, he's saying very professional, but I'm sure David's got no sleeves in his. I'm going to have to go back and look at that. I'm convinced David didn't have any sleeves in his suit.
So, a Super Bowl watch party. That's what Lee was mentioning before. Neil, at Box Park at Wembley would be excellent. Plenty of parking if you wanted to drive.
Yeah.
And hotels all up and down Wembley where
and it's got 2 humongous screens, and it holds 2,000 people as well.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think watch party stories. We could go on for another hour and a bit. I think we've covered.
Yeah, you need to be careful which watch party stories you tell, though.
Yeah, I think we've covered the evolution quite well. Obviously, we're all buzzing for the NFC Championship game. I've noticed a couple of Packers fans have come out of hiding in my mentions the last couple of
Right.
days. Now, I've been quite restrained, but if they're going to come after me, Lee, I ain't holding back. So I've had a bit of fun the
Yeah.
last couple of days. It's been nice to see Brock Purdy being defended by some of the talking heads. I know we don't do Niners talk as such on the live, but I just wanted to finish off with a congratulations.
Well, no, I mean, on the live, that's fine. I mean, talking about the likes of what Richard Sherman's been saying, what Pat McAfee's been saying, the pair of them have stood behind Brock Purdy pretty much all season long. And you listen to the likes of Ryan Clark. I had to actually go and look up who Ryan Clark was because I'd never heard of him. And he's basically bad-mouthing Brock Purdy, same as Cam Newton.
Yeah. So I must admit, I did quote tweet Ryan's because he put something about he couldn't understand why the faithful were coming after him, and I was like, because your take was that outrageous. Yes, Jay, we believe on that. Don't worry, Gopher. We appreciate you joining us. We
Yeah,
won't
thank you
be
very much.
on much
And thank you
longer.
for that question.
Yeah.
I'm good. I got it wrong, but thank you for the question anyway.
We appreciate that. Dave has put there, have a good one in Leeds. Hopefully he'll see us at the Super Bowl one. Wembley Box Park would be epic. And I said to Lee off air, I've just seen the news before we did tonight's show. CMC, Offensive Player of the Year.
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise, Lee.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think universally everybody thinks he deserves it, so that's a good one.
Yeah, but no, Richard Sherman, I seen a tweet that said, if you could go back in time to when he was a Seahawk and say, in a few years' time, he's going to be the man defending the quarterback for the 49ers, you'd have been thinking, how many fireballs have you had? But I'll say Sherman, I hated him at the Seahawks. I absolutely detested the man. And then as soon as he became a Niner, and the fact now he's more for us than he's the Seahawks. I love to see it. Oh, breaking news. Before we go any further, he has a million of those questions, and he's dropped one. See if you can get this one, Lee. Who was the first player in Super Bowl history to score 3 touchdowns in a single Super Bowl, and which one? I have no idea.
Yeah. I would say it's got to be 49er because obviously we're a 49er pod. However, don't know. That one, I would have to look up that one.
I'm going with Cubs. If Cubs says Jerry, according to
So-
Ty, it's an easy one.
All right.
Only easy, Ty, if you know it. Come
Yeah,
on, buddy.
exactly.
So Ty, while we're thinking of the answers there, check out the Stay
Same
Faithful podcast for the chats with me and Lee, which was epic. Oh, here we go. Roger Craig.
God, I was going to go Roger Craig as well.
Neil
I
Gray.
knew it was before. I knew it was before '95.
Oh, I see. It's all right, Justin.
Craig. Yeah.
I still love you. So Colin got it right. Neil got it right.
See,
I
I thought it was.
don't know.
I thought it was going to be one of those that trip you up, and it's not a 49ers player. That's why I was so hesitant.
Yeah. So have you got anything else, Lee?
No, that's pretty much it. I'm just looking forward to getting into the box on Sunday night and watching this game because I think it's going to be an epic game. I think it's going to be a lot closer than people imagine it's going to be. I've already got a prediction in my head of what I'm going, but I'm not giving that away.
Of course he's not. He's too competitive for the prediction
bloody
game.
right I am.
So, as I said, we will be recording the next episode of the 49er Faithful
Yeah,
UK pod
tomorrow
tomorrow.
night.
So Nadji won't be joining us. So it'll be me, Lee, Gareth, and a friend of the show. So you won't want to miss this one. The NFC Championship preview. 4 out of the last 5 years. Some people were talking for Kyle Shanahan to go. But if you want to know more about that, tune in to the latest pod that is out now. And all that is left for me to say before we go is stay safe and go Niners.
Bang bang, nine again.
We love the San Francisco 49ers deep in the heart. Like Joe Montana in the corner, D. Clark. Garrison Hurst, stiff farm going 99. Don't get it.